Hello, Michael here from the Therapy Lounge again. Today is all about number 3 on the list when it comes to your pre-shot routine, when it comes to fear of public speaking or performance. Number 3 on the list is about the tone of your voice, the tonality of our voice, how we use our voice and the power of our voice to the best of our ability. Let me tell you a quick story to illustrate the power of the voice. So I haven't always been a coach, I haven't always been a therapist. There was a time when I worked in the corporate world as a project manager in my early 20s, and I worked for Vodafone actually, one of the youngest project managers in the group. I really enjoyed it at the time, and I worked with a guy called Tony, who was probably 20 years my senior. He had a lot of experience running the project management office and working on very large flagship projects for the group. And Tony was a wonderful communicator. He was slightly introverted. He wasn't very much salesy, or he wasn't very extroverted, but he had a wonderful style when it came to controlling a room and using his voice to the best of his ability. What would happen invariably would be that someone would turn to Tony after they've done an intro, or we've done a bit of a round robin around the room, and eventually would come to Tony for the guts of what the meeting would be about, which is an update on the project or where the project is going, on the implementation or so on. And they would say to Tony, so Tony's going to give us an update. Tony's leading the project. And Tony would say, yeah, right, good. He'd then proceed to usually get up without making an excuse. He'd walk across the room. He'd find where the water was, and he'd pour himself a large glass of water. He'd get his water. I have an empty glass here. But he'd get his water, he'd sit down, and he'd sit and look at everyone. And he'd take a drink, and he'd say, right, good, are we ready? Yeah, ready, you're ready, everyone's good. And he'd start very slowly and softly, with such a soft voice, really quiet, and then he'd kind of talk and say, yeah, I'm really excited about the project. Actually, it's really amazing to be here today with these wonderful people, and it's great to get you all into a room. Today it is all about blah 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 blah. And he would build up into a massive crescendo. He wasn't a quiet man. He was introverted, but he knew how to use his voice. And he would start off in every meeting in the same way, when that slow, pausing, just taking his time. And as he's speaking, what is he doing? Well, he's adding massive gravitas to what he's saying. And in fact, he's getting everyone in the room to focus on him by simply doing nothing, is through inaction or through pausing and starting off quite slowly. Asking, are we ready? Everyone's good. And he's looking down at the two guys at the back who've been asleep for the whole meeting. All of a sudden they've perked up and they're looking at, who's this guy? What the hell is going on here? He's, all right, I better pay attention. This guy seems to know what he's doing. Through simple inaction, through using our voice and to using the voice to our best ability to build a story or build a narrative or to build an emotion or a sense of something, really what we can do is we can communicate in the most effective way. Understanding that the content, the words we use, all the research, even the new research coming out, indicates that the content, the words we use, is about 7 to 9% of communication. No one remembers the words, no one remembers what people say. Interestingly, Barack Obama is a perfect example of this. Barack Obama, during the Yes We Can speech, one of the most generic and unspecific speeches ever. The words don't actually mean anything. If you listen to the speech, it's universal. And in fact, it's not hitting home on any points or any policies or any kind of definite answers. It's extremely unspecific, in fact, which means that it can be absorbed by any type of person. Anyone can think, yes, we can, of course we can. I can, they can get involved in what Barack Obama is saying. So Barack Obama doesn't have a speech coach. Obviously he's someone who writes a speech, but it's very generic. He has an acting coach who sits there with Barack Obama, and they say, okay, Barack, that was great. Yes, we can. Good, you've got it down. What I'd like you to do now is to really use your voice. I'd like you to say, yes, we, and I want you to really pronounce the we. And then when you say can, I want you to look out into the group, into the room, and open your arms up and say yeah, and pause for a long time, and kind of use your eyes to make eye contact with every single person in the front row. So he kind of sits there and goes, yes, we can, and and he looks out and he's looking into the crowd, and that pause at the end is key as well, because it pulls people in, has massive gravitas adds massive gravitas to his speech and pulls those people in. So how we use our voice is so important, bearing in mind the words we say is 7% of communication. And when people would leave a speech like that with Barack Obama, they would poll them and say, so how did it go? How did you feel after that speech? And people say, oh, I feel amped up and motivated. We're time for a change. Yes, we can. And then they'd say to them, well, what else did he say? You know, what else could you remember? And most people say, I don't know, he talked about me and my life, and it really related to me. I can't really remember exactly what he said. What people are left with in a speech like that is a sense of something, an essence of something, you know, an emotional reaction to something. They hold on to the bits that resonate to them personally. And they remember the yes we can, you know, one simple thing that can be absorbed very easily in the unconscious mind. But it's the delivery and how he uses his voice that really sold that speech and eventually allowed him to win what was a landmark triumph for him, becoming the first black president of America. How we use our voice and the way that we project our voice and the tonality of our voice is so important. The pace at which we speak. Like Tony using the pace of his voice to suck people in, and that essence, he's getting focused attention on him by simply saying nothing or saying something really quietly. These little finesses, these little things that we can start to focus on now take practice, and we have to do them all the time. We have to do them in small meetings, medium-sized meetings, large meetings, one-to-ones, or when we're doing public speaking. It's time to practice these things now so that it becomes habitual for us. We become what's called unconsciously competent at doing it. So as well as focusing on your breathing, your posture, which are the first 2 video blogs that I've done, the third one now is the tone of your voice and how you use your voice to the best of your ability. These things combined add gravitas, and also they basically give us the state choice that we want. They allow us to walk into a room with a particular attitude. Practice these things between now and the next session, the next video blog that I'm about to do, which is based on smiling. Breathing, posture, the pace at which I speak, and whether I'm smiling or not. Next one's smiling. I look forward to smiling at you and telling you and allowing you to hear it. Thank you very much. Bye.